Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So yesterday I had a Magic the Gathering day. I walked around central Yokohama and went to half a dozen card stores. And then to end the day, I joined a standard event at Hareruya. And sorry for the poor sound quality, I don't have my usual microphone. But I thought I would talk about what I saw, how my standard games went, and what I bought. Pretty much every store I went to had big case displays on the higher priced cards, mostly rares but some uncommons. And then they had rows of long boxes full of lower priced cards. Each store had at least 3 of the big case displays, which is kind of a lot considering Magic is only the 9th most popular card game in Japan. I was happy to see so much selection. Unfortunately, none of the stores had a searchable storeroom of the less popular cards from Magic's history, except for Hareruya. We'll talk about that soon. But yeah, pretty much everything on display were the format all-stars that you would expect. I had heard of Hareruya, but I had never actually been, so when I first entered, I was shocked to see it was entirely devoted to Magic the Gathering. They had some cards on display, but they were pretty much all prizes for winning events, or for trade for accrued points gained by joining events. And they had the usual rows of long boxes of cheaper cards and the search computer. There were maybe 10 long tables, 8 people to a table, and the left side of the room was Commander, and the right side of the room was for everything else, like Modern, Pauper, and Standard. There were a good number of Commander games going at all times, maybe 3 to 5. And I wanted to play Commander, but I committed myself to Standard for the day because I wanted to test my Gates Maze's End deck. It did horribly, lost every match, but I wasn't there to win. I was more just to be there for the experience. So I still had fun. My first opponent played red-green aggro with the mice from Bloomborough, which is like the worst matchup for me. But I did all right. I was milling stuff, I was playing gates, I was playing sweepers to get rid of the opponent's board, but they eventually ran me over. The second match was bad. They played green-black, it might have also been aggro, and I went down very quickly. The problem was I couldn't get out 2 white sources to play my sweepers, and I realized I should mulligan more aggressively to get that in my opening hand, if possible. After the standard event ended, I looked around to see if a new Commander game would start, and if I could get in there, but it didn't look like it, so I headed home, pretty satisfied. I do want to go back to Hareruya, maybe multiple times during my week in Yokohama, but I'll join the scheduled Commander events just so I'm guaranteed games at a time I can count on. There are maybe 1 or 2 of those a day. And finally, let's talk about what I bought. First, some standard cards. I got Parting Gust, which is maybe the best single target exile, a creature in Standard now. I can also blink my own creatures, but in my Maze's End deck, that need won't come up too much. And then I got a few of the Aftermath Analyst. These were hard to come by. I paid about $3 per card, and then the next store I went to had them for $1 a piece. Oh well. And then I got Authority of the Consuls, 1 copy of this. The pricing for this fluctuated greatly from store to store, but I got this at the cheapest price, so I made up for my Aftermath Analyst loss. And then I got a couple copies of the Morbid Opportunist. For my black decks, they're just a good draw engine, and something that I didn't have before for whatever reason. And then I got some red cards for my mono-red Commander deck. This is a Ghostfire Slice, I think, and it's kind of crazy. If the opponent controls a multicolor permanent, 1 mana to do 4 damage to any target, that's better than Lightning Bolts. And then I got a couple of modal cards. This is Untimely Malfunction, and 300 yen, that's expensive for an uncommon card. But 1 in a red to destroy an artifact, or change the targeting of a spell that single targets something that's powerful, or make 2 creatures unable to block this turn. And that's perfect for my red Subira deck that relies on combat damage. And another modal card is Cast into the Fire. 1 in a red again, do 1 damage to 2 creatures, or exile an artifact, not destroy, exile. That's pretty powerful. And then this is from Modern Horizons 3, Sundering Eruption. A 2-sided card that is a bolt land on one side, and a sorcery on the other. Destroy target land, and the owner can search for a basic land, That's powerful, but I don't want to do that too often. And creatures without flying can't block this turn. And this is the main reason to use this card, to again enable my combat damage strategy. But yeah, great roll compression here. Lots of options, lots of utility. And then the standout of the day was Glacial Crevices. I was searching for this for months, but it appeared in the computer at Hareruya, and only for $1. It is from Ice Age, so it was difficult to find, partly for that reason. It's an enchantment where if I sacrifice a snow-covered mountain, I prevent all combat damage this turn. So it's a repeatable fog in red. So if someone attacks me with a giant 2020 trample guy, I can just prevent it at instant speed. And actually this will probably prevent people from attacking me, so it'll do its job even if I don't sacrifice a snow-covered mountain. And then to go with it, I got a handful of the snow-covered mountains. I have more of these at home. Hopefully with this I have enough to complete the deck. Alright, and then finally we'll get to my Riga Stadium deck, which is my favorite commander deck. I picked up this white bordered, Weathered Wayfarer, pretty clean, and I wonder how people feel about this card. I looked at the online discussion, and some call it awesome, some call it bad. I get the additional benefit of it being a power 1 to activate Riga's ability, so I have maybe more reason to play it than some people. But yeah, it'll take some testing before I decide if I like it or not. And then I got Mausoleum Wanderer, another 1-power creature that can maybe counter a spell. I got this white-blue room from Duskmourn. This is kind of a direct upgrade to my deck. I had another card that destroyed all creatures with power 3 or higher, but this also has the second part, where I can give all my permanents hexproof. Do I really need the hexproof? Sure, couldn't hurt my strategy, but it doesn't rely on it. But it would be a nice bonus if I had, 7 mana just lying around? And then I got Abiding Grace, and this is crazy for my deck. Every end step I can take a 1-mana creature from my graveyard and then put it onto the battlefield. So like my creature can attack into a creature, activate Riga's ability, die from battle, and almost immediately come back to attack again next turn. Or I could bring back the Mausoleum Wanderer to counter another spell, or bring back like Haywire Might to exile another artifact or enchantment, or bring back Gingerbrute for an unblockable attacker, or bring back Giver of Runes for some protection, or bring back Spectral Sailor for card draw. And yeah, every turn. So I'm very excited for Abiding Grace. Okay, so that's that. Apparently Monday and Tuesday are the big days for Standard at that store, so I want to join one or both of those. But otherwise, I think I want to be playing Commander. Hopefully I can, and I'll try to do a report on those too. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.